Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my February TBR. So January has been a pretty good month for me. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I have read a good amount of books. I've really enjoyed most of the books that I've read so far this month. I am in the middle of one right now that I'll hopefully finish by the time this video goes up, and then I'm hoping to maybe squeeze in one more before January ends. Now I know February is a shorter month, but I have high hopes that I can stay on this good little reading roll that I'm currently on and get a lot of books in. I've also chosen some shorter books mixed in with some lengthier books, so we'll see. We'll see what I get into. All right, so the first book on my February TBR is The Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. So I'm currently in the middle of reading the first book in the Farseer trilogy called The Assassin's Apprentice. This is the second book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and I'm enjoying The Assassin's Apprentice so much so far, and I've heard that the series really only gets better, so I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to speak too much on this book since it is the second in the series, but the Farseer trilogy follows our main character named Fitz. We start off our journey with him in Assassin's Apprentice when he is just a young boy who he is the illegitimate son of a prince who is the heir to the throne in this realm. And his grandfather takes him to the castle and says, here you go, here's your illegitimate child, like now it's your turn to take care of him. And so the way that they deal with him is that they want to keep him really close so that he doesn't become a threat to their kingdom. And they decide to train him up to be an assassin so that his loyalties are still tied to the family, but he doesn't ever become a threat, and he becomes more of like this tool for them to use to kind of pursue their political intrigues and desires. So this book, Fitz is going to be a little bit older. I believe he's probably going to be an assassin in his own right now, and I'm just really excited to see what else happens with him and the various other characters in this world. I'm already enjoying it so much, so I feel like I have a lot of good things to look forward to. The second book on my list is Passing by Nella Larsen. This was originally published in 1929. We follow two main characters, Irene and Claire, and they are two Black women from Harlem, New York City. Irene is married to a very prominent physician within the community, and one day she runs into her childhood friend, Claire, and their lives kind of start to collide. And it's very interesting because Claire has decided to live most of her adult life because she's mixed race, as a white woman. And so no one knows about her Black identity. She's even hid it from her husband. But when she kind of comes into Irene's life and she sees the way the Black community is doing, she starts to really miss it and long to be a part of it again. But she makes things really difficult for Irene in the process. So this just seems like it's going to be like a really heartbreaking, tragic tale, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. All right, the second book on my list is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. In this book, we follow a woman named Janie Crawford. It is set in the 1930s. And we follow Janie from when she is about 16 until her mid-40s. And as she goes through several marriages, the first couple kind of being forced upon her or not quite what she's expected, they're kind of loveless, to her third that is kind of like a bit of a surprise for everyone else around her, I believe, but she, in this marriage and throughout her journey, is starting to finally accept who she is, and in this third marriage, you know, finally find someone that she can have true companionship with. And I've heard that this is just a really great tale about strength and perseverance, so I'm really looking forward to this one. The next book on my list, this is a big one. I'm probably not going to finish it this month, but I'm hoping to at least finish the first part of it, is I Am a Cat by Natsume Soseki. Now, when I first saw this book, I was not really interested in it at all because of the cat, and the cat is our narrator, and I hadn't really read too much about it, and I don't know, just the idea of a cat narrating a book, I was worried that it was going to be like too cartoonish and strange, and you know, I'm a cat person. I like cats. I like dogs. I like The Cat Returns by Studio Ghibli. But I don't know. I was just like, could I read a book that has a cat as a narrator? But when I read more about it, I just thought it sounded really good. So I'm really excited about it. So we have this unowned, free, wild cat who is our narrator, and it is, you know, just roaming the streets of, I believe, Tokyo. And so I Am a Cat is supposed to be a good classic bit of Japanese literature. It is satire, focusing on the upper middle class society and all of their ridiculousness during the Meiji era. So I'm just really looking forward to kind of getting an interesting insight into Japanese society during this time from a really fun narrator. Okay, next on my list, another little bit of a shorter book, is An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. It follows a man who is an artist who he served Japan during World War II, and now that the war is over and he's kind of coming to grips with his contributions to the war, and he's starting to kind of feel guilty about it because there are aspects, you know, the difficulties of the political situation during that time. He was at one point kind of hailed as a hero and then was frowned upon and seen as more of the bad guy. And so as he's kind of trying to think through what it is that he's done and cope with, you know, the whole situation, he starts to kind of retreat into memories of his past when he was an artist in the floating world. And the floating world is just kind of his idea of his careless youth, kind of giving into pleasure and entertainment as a way to kind of process the things that have happened to him and kind of look back and cope. So this seems like it's going to be really sad. I've really enjoyed all of the other books by Kazuo Ishiguro that I've read. But we'll see how this goes. So the next book on my list is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. I've heard that it is really great to read if you were a fan of Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, which I just recently finished and did a review on. I'll put a link to that down below. So The Bear and the Nightingale is about a girl named Vasya. It's also set in Russia, just like Spinning Silver, and it's supposed to be very heavy on the folklore. We live in a world where there is, you know, Vasya is kind of having to wrestle between all of these mythologies and old world stories, juxtaposed kind of with, you know, Russian Orthodox Christianity. And there are major threats kind of looming in the forest near Vasya's home. She has some magical abilities, and she's going to have to kind of come to grips with what is lurking in the forest and her powers and try to save their world. I've heard this is another really great kind of atmospheric fairy tale story, and I'm really looking forward to reading it before winter is over. This is also the first book in a trilogy, so if I enjoy this, I'm really looking forward to having even more books to read and get into. All right, so those are the 6 books on my February TBR. We shall see if I actually read all of them. I'm hoping that I will. I'm at least going to start all of them. Have you read any of these before? What did you think about them? What are you looking forward to reading in February? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.